I believe in my soul. I believe in my soul something bigger is in store for gold. I truly do. And all of that gold and silver is coming back to the United States. We are now a net importer because we realize the only way to inspire confidence and maybe front run the BRICS. He's having meetings with Xi Jinping and Putin. Is he discussing this? Is he saying, let's just massively revalue gold? It will benefit you guys. It'll devalue the dollar. That's what he wants. It'll devalue the dollar against gold. Gold goes to the moon. Every $1,000 or $4,000 increase in the price of gold gives $1 trillion free and clear to the Treasury general account. Peg it to treasuries, re-inspire confidence, pay off some of the debt.
The gold market attracts its share of fringe ideas, and in recent weeks, one of them, the United States' need to revalue its gold stockpiles, has gripped Wall Street. Some analysts have noted that if the government revalued its gold reserves at current prices above $2,900 an ounce, it could add more than $760 billion to the Treasury Department's coffers. Franklin CEO Andy Schectman notes that the U.S. has become a net gold importer since November, signaling a shift beyond tariffs. Gold prices are hitting record highs just in time for Valentine's Day. But tariff threats lobbed by U.S. President Donald Trump toward Europe have massively disrupted markets for precious metals. That dynamic initially created a big problem for gold dealers like JPMorgan Chase, but some of the world's biggest financial institutions are now capitalizing on the subsequent arbitrage opportunity. Fears that Trump could impose a blanket tax on all European imports, including gold, have prompted a massive influx of the noble metal into America's gold inventories. According to Bloomberg, the inventories have more than doubled since Election Day, the biggest spike since the COVID-19 pandemic. The U.S. is now home to roughly $106 billion in gold, compared with about $50 billion on November 5th. Regarding recent gold movements, Schectman explains that 12.5 million ounces of gold and 40 million ounces of silver have shifted from London to U.S. vaults, hinting at a monetary reset. Additionally, he emphasizes a record 59,296 Comex gold contracts for February delivery, surpassing the June 2020 peak. Drawing connections between policy and global trends, Schectman explores Treasury Secretary Homer Besant's push to monetize assets and Judy Shelton's vision for a gold-backed treasury. He believes the ongoing gold repatriation signals a major financial shift ahead. Now, we present the clips of Andy Schectman's insights from his recent interview. Before we continue to discuss this, please subscribe to our channel and activate the bell icon for timely updates.
Since November, 12.5 million ounces of gold and over 40 to 45 million ounces of silver have moved from the London vaults to the U.S. vaults because everyone is saying it's tariffs. To me, it appears that the Federal Reserve is accumulating physical gold and silver for a bigger reason, maybe part of a sovereign wealth fund strategy, maybe something bigger. Now, we talk about London, and we look at London, and they are supposed to be T+1 settlement. They're now T+6 to 8 weeks. That's a default. Give me my gold in 1 day. No, it's going to be 6 to 8 weeks. What do you mean 6 to 8 weeks? It's T+1. Sorry, we're backed up. BS, they're backed up. Something's bigger happening right here in front of us. Get this. When you talk about signs of stress in the paper gold system, the February contract on Comex has seen deliveries, stand for delivery, of 59,296 contracts. That is by far the largest delivery ever at Comex. The previous record was in the middle of the QE to infinity nausea in June 2020. It was 47,132. This is 12,167 contracts more than the largest ever. That's 5,929,600 ounces. Try multiplying that times 2,900 and your calculator will go E. It's too big for your calculator to tell you what the number is. 2,747 silver contracts in February, or 427 tons, 13,735,000 ounces, all coming to New York because of the tariff threat. Or is it the tariff threat? Could it be a ruse, perhaps? Along those same lines, somewhere in the neighborhood of November, I always bitched about the fact that JPMorgan paid a $920 million fine for manipulating the metals market and somehow still got to be the custodian of the world's largest silver trust, SLV, they and BlackRock, amongst other ETFs that they own in London and around the world, gold and silver ETFs. It was HSBC Bank that always controlled GLD. But guess somewhere in the last few months who just took control of GLD? Oh my goodness, it's none other than JPMorgan, the fox guarding the hen house. So you have JPMorgan and BlackRock now in custody of the largest silver trust in the world and one of the largest gold stockpiles in the world, amongst other ETFs. And what have I always said when people say, do you think gold will be confiscated? I said, no, I think they'll take the ETFs because we can't take possession of the ETFs. The commercial banks can. I'm going to talk about that in 1 second. But instead, they could take all of that gold and silver, look the world in the face and say, look, we didn't default on anything. We didn't take gold from our citizens. It's not illegal to own it. Physical gold ownership is just fine. All we did is close the ETFs. The prospectus gives us the right to do that. No laws broken, no civil liberties infringed. Sorry. And they could do that like that. JP Morgan in 2 vaults, one in New York and one in London, now hold more gold than the majority of the G20 countries. Just like that. And it's the largest, pretty much largest silver stockpile in the world, or one of them on top of what they already own. So let's just stop for a moment and reflect before I finish. So we have Scott Bessent saying we're going to monetize the asset side of the balance sheet. What assets other than land and gold? We have him saying it's his largest holding. We have Judy Shelton saying the only way this will ever work to maintain demand for the U.S. Treasury is to back it by gold. What is gold? But the only other tier 1 asset in the world. Who's been buying it and repatriating it? The central banks. Are they front running something? What did the BRICS say? Oh, Dilma Rousseff, the former president of Brazil, head of the new development bank. We've agreed in principle to a new settlement currency called the unit. 40% gold backed, 60% BRICS plus currencies. What did Judy Shelton say? We're going to issue 50-year treasuries and then issue stable coins. Hopefully the private market issues stable coins backing off the treasury. They said no CBDC, but they will start doing stable coins pegged to gold and pegged to the treasury market. Third party like Ripple or like Tether, who are already loaded in U.S. treasuries. Almost entirely, their balance sheet is U.S. Treasury supporting the legacy system. They'll issue these too, not the government, the control of the central bank digital currency, but they will still control the on-ramp and the off-ramp. It's the same thing in a different hat, issued by a third party instead of by the government. It's genius. So she wants to issue 50-year treasuries backed by gold, says Trump will issue them in July 4th, 2026, and then stable coins come off of it. She said that they need to audit the gold. Maybe they'll even revalue the gold, just like Loomis said, and the Dutch National Bank and the Bundesbank held in the gold revaluation account, the only other tier 1 asset. But Trump says tariffs, so we got to bring all the gold and silver back to backfill all of these rehypothecated naked shorts. BS. I believe in my soul. I believe in my soul something bigger is in store for gold.
The World Gold Council predicts robust gold demand will continue into 2025, fueled by persistent geopolitical and macroeconomic uncertainties that reinforce gold's safe haven appeal. Challenging conventional narratives, Andy Schectman questions Trump's motives, suggesting he may drive gold higher to devalue the dollar while bolstering U.S. reserves. This strategy could enhance the balance sheet, boost exports, and align with BRICS gold-backed currency plans. Andy Schectman notes that central banks accumulate gold in synchronized, hinting at a coordinated global revaluation. With Judy Shelton backing gold-pegged treasury bonds and stablecoins, Schectman suggests this may signal a new monetary order, potentially under Trump. Last week, the World Gold Council published a report that shows continued strong demand from global central banks. Net accumulation in 2024 was above 1,000 tons for the 3rd consecutive year. Data released on Friday showed that China's central bank added to gold reserves in January for the 3rd consecutive month after pausing for most of last year. Let's get back to the interview.
Look, if you don't question everything, even Trump's motivation, everything, you've learned nothing. After the last 4 years of being lied to incessantly on everything, we've been lied to. And that's not conspiratorial. It's not. It's fact. If you don't question everything, you've learned nothing. And I mean, I just think that things are not as they appear to be with this guy. He's shrewd as hell. And if he really is looking out for the country, truly, and he's not the Trojan horse, as Francis Hunt said to me he was. I found it interesting. I may not completely agree with it. Maybe some of it I did, but then the first thing to do would be to stop the outflow of all of the gold and silver and the commodities eastward. And he wants a a lower dollar, right? You let the price of gold spike, what happens to the value of dollar? It falls in relation to gold. But your gold holdings go way up. Your balance sheet looks better. Your exports might do better. It kind of serves his purpose. And if you were being honest with Xi Jinping and Putin, look, fellas, I don't want strife anymore, but you guys are buying all the gold. We're going to let it run. And that will benefit you. And let's find a way to coexist. You keep doing your things. You want to do your BRICS things, whatever, but let's do it in a manner that allows us to coexist. I don't know. See, I get to this point. I see all of these dots. And I said, there's something bigger is happening than they're saying, way bigger. It doesn't ever go like this. And then I go blank. Like, what's next? I don't know. I don't know how it all plays out. But I'll tell you, when she says there's 50-year treasuries coming pegged to gold and stable coins off of it, and she is right there next to him, I believe it. And the only way to do that would be to get as much gold back as you can, because who knows how much of it has been leased out anyway, and then revalue it. It's held in the revaluation account, and everyone's screaming revalue it. It's at 42.22 on our books, 35 on every other central bank in their revaluation account. And they're the ones that have been buying it. Wouldn't it behoove all the central banks to do that? Or what if they all knew that that was part of the script? Just like they all repatriated and front ran the purchasing in 2016, 17, and 18, and 19 before it was reclassified. What if the central banks know that this is the long game? If you look at Jan Nieuwenhuis, I think is the guy who's written about all of the accumulation of gold in the European Union as a percentage of GDP, gold to GDP on their balance sheet. And every single one has almost the exact same amount right now, like redistribution of gold. They all have the same amount. It's as if they're preparing for a gold revaluation to back a new system. What if these central bankers know the script? I mean, they are the most informed traders on the planet. It just seems like gold is the more things change, the more they stay the same, everything's coming full circle. Gold is going to be reinserted into a system that has lost all trust, to reignite that trust and find a marriage of blockchain technology, just like they said at the BRICS, Project Enbridge, trading the unit, 40% gold backed. 40% is what the Swiss used to have, by the way. Their currency was back 40%. 40% gold backing is the number a lot of economists say would be perfect. Well, there you go. You can just see that these things in and of themselves are significant. Put them together and it's like, man, it sure looks like something bigger is on the horizon. And what better guy to do it than Trump, who is blowing up the house. And this would be something that has to be done.
Rising gold imports, central bank accumulation, and discussions of revaluation suggest a significant shift in the financial system. Whether this leads to a new gold-backed framework or a strategic reset remains to be seen. If gold is being strategically positioned as the foundation for a new monetary order, could we be on the verge of a historic reset that reshapes global finance? Drop your thoughts in the comment section below. If you find this video informative, don't forget to support our channel and turn on notifications to stay informed about our latest videos. See you in the following video.